up leadership position by bringing key leaders and also global mentors to groom and train our girls into leadership. Women Talk Raising Confident Girls in Leadership, Girl for Girls adalah untuk mendidik dan membantu wanita muda dalam memupuk sifat keberanian dan menjawat jawatan dengan membawa mentor dari pentas global untuk melatih pemimpin wanita dalam kepimpinan. Kelantan proudly presenting and launching Girl for Girl UMK program by becoming pioneers in focusing on women leadership among the IPTS, definitely with the support by Professor Dr. RAZLI binti RAZAK, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Student Affairs and Alumni, Universiti Malaysia Kelantan. We're actually supposed to conduct this event, this sharing session on the 17th of July, but UMK was committed in Ops Pulang where we sent back our on-campus students back home. So we postponed today, and here we go, our event is here today. So we are conducting two programs, which is one today, Women Talk, Raising Confident Girls in Leadership, and then one more will be starting tomorrow, which is Program Mentorship from 24th of July 2021 until 21st August 2021. So Universiti Malaysia Kelantan dengan bangganya menjadi perintis dalam memberikan perhatian sokongan Timbalan Naib Chancellor, Hal Ehwal Pelajar dan Alumni. Profesor Dr. RAZLI binti RAZAK. Sesi perkongsian ini sepatutnya berlaku pada 17 hari bulan 2021, tetapi UMK telah terlibat dalam Ops Pulang di mana kita telah menghantar pelajar dalam kampus ke kampung halaman masing-masing. Kita ada dua program yang akan berlangsung iaitu Girls in Leadership dan juga Women Program program mentorship yang akan berlangsung pada 24 Julai 2021 sehingga 21 Ogos 2021. Dengan ini, saya menjemput Timbalan Naib Chancellor Hal Ehwal Pelajar dan Alumni untuk memberi sepatah dua kata dan merasmikan Women Talk, Raising Confidence Girls in Leadership dan Program Mentorship UMK. Dipersilakan, Prof.
Prof, mute Prof. Is it okay? Can you hear me?
Yes, Prof.
Okay. Pertama sekali saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada Cik Izzana kerana bersama-sama petang ini. Kemudian pemimpin-pemimpin pelajar Universiti Malaysia Kelantan dan Cik Moderator as well yang begitu fasih dalam pelbagai bahasa orang Penang macam itulah. Okay, so dimaklumkan yang terlibat dalam program ini adalah merupakan di kalangan pemimpin pelajar wanita di Universiti Malaysia Kelantan seperti MPP, kelab-kelab persatuan seramai 50 orang. Tetapi saya lihat di sini numbernya sudah melebihi 50 orang. Jadi Alhamdulillah. Dan saya juga difahamkan oleh pihak penganjur bahawa esok kita ada 24 Julai sehingga 21 Ogos kita akan adakan program susulan program mentorship Girls for Girls yang melibatkan seramai 50 orang peserta dari kalangan pemimpin pelajar wanita UMK yang telah mendaftarkan diri sebelum ini, di mana akan dikumpulkan mengikut mentor-mentor dari NGO Girls for Girls Malaysia. Kita ada pelbagai modul, saya difahamkan Introduction and Building Trust, Courageous Leadership, the Arts of Communication, Negotiation, Public Services, Ethics and Values in Decision Making and Graduation. So boleh saya katakan bahawa program-program ini amatlah baik untuk semua pemimpin-pemimpin pelajar di Universiti Malaysia Kelantan yang akan membina kekuatan diri untuk berada di luar sana bila tamat pengajian di Universiti Malaysia Kelantan. Selain daripada itu, program ini diadakan untuk meningkatkan nilai tambah dan gaya kepimpinan semua pelajar yang telah sedia ada dalam diri pelajar masing-masing. Kita nak polish up supaya you become contoh wanita yang akan saya sebutkan selepas ini. Jika dilihat daripada data Suruhanjaya Pilihan Raya pada tahun 2018, daripada keseluruhan 687 orang calon yang bertanding pada peringkat parlimen dalam pilihan raya umum yang ke-14 baru ni, hanya 75 orang calon saja, iaitu 10.9% adalah daripada kalangan wanita. Manakala calon wanita pada peringkat Dewan Undangan Negeri, kalau saya mengambil statistik yang ada, hanyalah 167 orang berbanding dengan 1,479 calon lelaki. Ini menampakkan peratus pelibatan wanita masih rendah, walaupun sudah 14 kali kita adakan pilihan raya sejak merdeka. Begitu juga dengan ahli parlimen yang berada di Dewan Rakyat Malaysia. Kalau kita lihat, hanyalah ada 14.86% saja. Jadi tidak terkecuali kalau saya sebutkan bonda kepada Cik Izzana jemputan kita pada hari ini, iaitu Tan Sri Shahrizad Jalil yang dikenali sebagai wanita besi. Jadi Cik Izzana, kalau boleh saya ceritakan sedikit tentang bonda anda supaya menjadi satu inspirasi kepada pemimpin-pemimpin pelajar wanita di Universiti Malaysia Kelantan.
Sila Prof.
Tan Sri Shahrizad dilahirkan di Pulau Pinang pada 15 Ogos 53 dan mendapat pendidikan awal di Sekolah Perempuan Jalan Northern dan Madrasah Tarbiyah Islamiah Pulau Pinang. Kemudian Tan Sri melanjutkan pengajian ke St. George Pulau Pinang, kemudian ke Kolej Tengku Kursiah Seremban. Tan Sri melanjutkan pengajian ke Universiti Malaya dalam bidang undang-undang dan tamat bermula pada tahun 1973 dan tamat pada tahun 1976. Kemudian Tan Sri terlibat sebagai magistrate dan dilantik sebagai penolong peguam cara pembendaraan dan telah meletakkan jawatan daripada Perundangan dan Kehakiman Malaysia pada tahun 80. Tan Sri adalah merupakan rakan kongsi selama 16 tahun Su Tien Min dan Shahrizad. Beliau memulakan perkhidmatan peguam weller dan peguam cara di Tetuan Shahrizad dan Tan bermula pada 1 Julai 1983. Apa yang saya nak menarik perhatian pelajar ini, bahawa Tan Sri yang mempunyai ijazah undang-undang mula melibatkan dalam dunia korporat pada tahun 86 dengan dilantik sebagai pengarah mewakili permodalan nasional berhad di beberapa buah syarikat Island and Peninsula, Austral Enterprise, UNW Toyota, TDC Park Developments yang berhad, Shangri-La Hotels yang berhad, UBN Holdings yang berhad. Beliau telah menempa sejarah apabila menjadi wanita pertama di Malaysia dilantik sebagai pengurusi di dua buah syarikat yang tersenarai di Bursa Saham Kuala Lumpur, iaitu Island and Peninsula Berhad dan Austral Enterprise Berhad. Jadi kalau kita lihat bagaimana Tan Sri sebagai seorang mempunyai kelulusan undang-undang, kemudian menjadi badan kehakiman dan undang-undang, kemudian korporat, lawyer, dan kemudian menceburkan dalam diri sebagai seorang ahli politik dan ketua Wanita UMNO Malaysia. Kemudian kalau kita lihat di sini, apa yang saya nak highlightkan, bahawa inilah wanita besi yang ingin kita lahirkan. Yang ingin kita lahirkan pada dunia yang akan datang, dunia realiti akan datang sebaik saja pelajar-pelajar saya tamat berijazah bergraduan daripada Universiti Malaysia Kelantan. Jadikan beberapa inspirasi wanita-wanita yang hebat di Malaysia ini menjadi satu idola kepada anda semua. Merujuk kepada laporan Global Gender Gap Report 2020, Malaysia berada pada kedudukan ke-97 dari segi penyertaan wanita dalam sektor ekonomi. Diikuti pencapaian pendidikan pada kedudukan 86, kesihatan dan kelangsungan hidup pada kedudukan ke-84 dan penyertaan dalam politik pada kedudukan ke-117 dalam dunia. Jika dilihat dari pencapaian Malaysia ini dalam kesamaan berpolitik terlalu rendah dan ketinggalan jika kita dibandingkan dengan negara kurang membangun seperti Cuba, Peru, Kenya, malah Ghana yang mencapai kemerdekaan pada tahun yang sama seperti Malaysia pada tahun 1957 berada pada kedudukan ke-107 dalam dunia. Hal demikian bagi saya sebagai seorang Timbalan dan Chancellor Haiwan Pelajar dan Alumni yang bertanggungjawab dalam membangunkan watak kepimpinan dalam kepimpinan pelajar terutama golongan wanita di Universiti Malaysia Kelantan. Saya rasa sangat perlu program-program sebegini diadakan kerana suatu hari nanti saya ingin melihat peratusan keterlibatan wanita dalam semua sektor, terutamanya sektor politik dan sektor ekonomi dan lain-lain akan datang, akan terus meningkat dan akan lahirnya pemimpin masa harapan dari kalangan wanita Universiti Malaysia Kelantan. Dengan adanya program sebegini, dapatlah kiranya pelajar yang menyertai program ini akan didedahkan dengan orang yang sebenar dan gambaran jelas dalam perjalanan sebagai seorang pemimpin selain menambah nilai kepimpinan hasil daripada perkongsian Cik Izzana Salleh nanti. InsyaAllah. Diingatkan juga kepada pelajar terutama pemimpin wanita yang ada bersama saya hari ini. Sama-sama kita bawa dan gunakan ilmu yang akan dikongsi oleh Cik Izzana dan pasukan beliau untuk universiti tercinta kita ini. Kalau tidak, kita siapa lagi yang akan menjadi pemimpin wanita pada suatu masa kelak. Semoga dengan adanya program sebegini dapat memberi manfaat dan kebaikan untuk kita semua. Akhir kata dengan lafaz Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, saya merasmikan program Women Talk Raising Confident Girls in Leadership dan program Mentorship Girl for Girls Universiti Malaysia Kelantan. Sekian, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum.
Terima kasih Prof atas perasmian tadi. Thank you so much. Prof, boleh izinkan kita untuk ambil gambar bersama Prof? Prof dah menutup. Prof mute.
Tak tahu kenapa gambar saya dia jadi hilang. Sedangkan anda saya nampak clear. Is it because of changing the background?
Yes, Prof.
Oh, I see. No wonder. No wonder.
Can I ask the participants to switch on your camera so that
Sure.
we could all take a picture with
Yeah,
Prof.
switch on the camera, please.
Yeah.
I want to see your face as well. How many of you today? I think 77 is good, huh? Nasrin?
We have
77.
85.
Wow, gosh. God. Good. Okay. So, Khairul Amin, can you switch on your camera, please?
Our technical team. Thank you, Amin, for becoming our technical team.
Sure. Okay. I think my face is not clear. Why? I don't know. Okay. Who snapped the camera? Kir buat?
No.
Technical Prof.
Okay, technical. Okay, you okay, semula.
Amin kira Amin.
Okay, Amin. Lepas tu ni Buya. Kenapa saya jadi gini Buya? Allahu Akbar. Saya tak tahu kenapa ni. Tak clear gambar. Okay, thumbs up to Cik Izzana as well for coming with us today. Sampaikan salam pada Tan Sri, idola kami semua, dan bapa sekali sebab profesor tu Datuk Dr. Muhammad Salleh. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you Izzana. Please come back to UMK and share with us your experience as well. Okay,
Always.
so I want to thank all the panitia as well. Buya, Daniel Khalid, we call it Buya. Kim Mama Amin, the officer in charge, and our technical Khairul Amin, and our moderator, of course, Miss Shamira Nasrin from Penang as well. Okay, so thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Prof.
Thank you so much, Prof, for joining us.
Okay, sure.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks to our Prof for joining us. And then next, I would like to introduce our speaker today. She's President CEO for Girls International, Director on the board of Talent Corp Malaysia, and advisor on the board of Lean In Malaysia. A little bit on education background, where our speaker received her Master in Public Administration from Harvard Kennedy School of Government, Master in Business Administration from Imperial Business College, and Bachelor's in Biotechnology from California State University, Pomona. Our speaker also has extensive experience in management, public policy, stand-ups, and international NGOs. A purpose-driven leader who finds strength in empowering young women, she embodies living with fully, intentionally, and consistently, pushing for equality and progress in Malaysia and around the world. So Ms. Izzana, I think you're one person where I switch on my Instagram notification so that I wouldn't miss out your post, whether your story or your, and then, so it's very nice for me to witness you over here, and then for joining us, to share your experience on that. So now the floor is yours, not technically, but, virtually.
Thank you so much, Cik Samira, our pengurusi majlis. Can I just check actually who's in the audience right now? Is it your professors, management, or are you all just students here?
We have our technical team, and then we have a few of our management staff, and then the rest of us are students.
Okay, great. So if you don't mind, I'm going to take a slightly more casual approach. Prof has done the formality, Prof dah buat launch, ada lagu-lagu, I record everything already. But I want to take it down a notch. I want to make this a bit more relaxed and casual. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Okay, great. But firstly, I just want to say thank you to your Mr. Buya, Cik Daniel, because actually he reached out to me on Instagram and he was very persistent. And that was a few months ago. And so here we are today. We are on this conversation. We have a mentorship circle being launched tomorrow. So thank you to you, Daniel, dengan your whole team yang really give us at Girls for Girls great cooperation. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share. I can share screen, kan? Okay, let me try this. Let me see. Yeah. Let me see. Boleh tak? Okay, if I share this screen, can you see it? I'm gonna need you guys to voice out because for some reason it takes up my whole screen, so I can't see. Can you guys see it? Can somebody tell me if you verbalize?
Yes, me.
Okay. Yes. Awesome. Okay, so why don't we do this? I will share with you a little bit about some thoughts because this whole thing has taken up my screen. I don't know if I can. Oh no, let's go back. Okay, and after that we can share a little bit in the group chat. Let me see. Stop sharing. Okay. Is it still there or is it gone already?
It's gone.
Okay, never mind. Let me just share a couple slides and then I'll get out again because I want to see how you guys are doing today. Share. Okay. So today you wanted to chat a little bit with me about raising confident girls in leadership. So what I'm going to do today, just a bit of context, is actually share with you based on my experience running Girls for Girls, based on my experience in leadership in Malaysia, based on my experience in running a global team. So Girls for Girls is in 22 countries. That's why sometimes if anybody's looking for a meeting with me petang or malam, it's a bit tough because we deal with a global team. So it's morning time for them. So feedback is I've made it quite general, but in my experience, it applies to all. So I wanted to share with you a little bit about me. One of the things I want to share is that I'm actually half Kelantanese, which I thought would be quite pertinent since I'm assuming that there will be a lot of Kelantanese girls here as well. My dad is from Wakaf Cik. My mom is a Penangite, so Cik Shamira, we've got something in common there. One of the things that got me here chatting with you today is actually I founded this organization, NGO in Malaysia and also other parts of the world, is purely out of passion. It's something I really love to do. And also, if you go back into a bit of my background, or if you're checking out my Insta stories, I have a huge passion about education. So whether it is improving my level of education, because I believe education is a lifelong thing, or helping other people pursue a stronger qualification in behavioral capabilities or technical capabilities, it's something I love. And I realized now I am 34 years old. I realized that a few years ago I discovered my purpose in life and what makes me the happiest, which is I live to bring young girls like you and also whoever who's joining us for the mentorship session tomorrow. I live to bring you to your fullest potential. It's just, I've always been like that since I was young, but I actually couldn't articulate until say my early 30s, and I realized actually this is something I love to do. You don't have to pay me and I still do it, and so I mean that's how you know that's your passion, right? And I thought why I put the video there is number one, to share with you that we have this filter on Insta stories now. So if you want to go to our Instagram, you can tap and put the G4G code filter on your Insta. But also I want to share with you that was a really cute quote. We were testing it out and I got that one. We cannot become what we want to by remaining what we are. So if you want to be a leader, if you want to be a better speaker, if you want to be somebody who is far more influential, whatever it is, you need to remember that you will have to depart. You have to leave where you are today because you're transforming into a different person. To start today's conversation, and especially for those who are joining us tomorrow, because you have to be open, keep your mind open to the process that is about to happen. Okay, so I'm gonna step out a bit because I want to have a view. If we can just share in the chat, if you can tell me in one word, how are you feeling today? I just want to get a bit of idea in the room. Are you feeling good? Are you feeling stressed? Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling like I don't want to look at my screen anymore? Type in the chat box, how are you feeling today? I just want to know. I will join in as well. I'm feeling quite energized actually. I'm going to type it in because I'm chatting with you and it's been a while since I've done some speaking engagements. So share with me, how are you guys feeling? Either say it out loud or type it in. Okay, you guys are enjoying.
So probably before that, Miss Izzana, so you prefer kecek Kelate or you prefer cakap Penang?
My dad is gonna be angry. I'm sure he can hear me from outside because I am at Murtad because I cannot kecek Kelate. But feel free to teach me, okay? Oh, you guys are excited, happy. Nazira's feeling delightful. Yeah, okay, we're all excited. Good, we're on the same vibe. Izzati, hey, similar name, Izzana Izzati. You're feeling, where are you? Happier. Okay, great. You guys are excited. I love this. Blissful. Fatin Nabila's feeling blissful. Nice. Good. So I'm getting very positive vibes. Cik Shamira, somewhere in between, kalau you want to teach me some words in Kelantanese too, I think you would help me make my family very proud. Or, oh wait, you're Penangat. So
yes, I'm Penangat.
My mom would be very grateful because I cannot do either. So anybody want to teach me, I'm happy to learn that from you. If you guys are in the mentorship circle, also teach me that. They'll be very happy with you. Awesome. Okay, I'm glad to know that the people who have answered Semua very positive vibes. You guys are excited, happy, enjoying, happy. Great, great, great. This is all good start for me. Okay, so considering today's conversation, kita punya chit chat ni is about raising confident girls in leadership, right? I want you to also do the same thing. Write in the chat box what you understand as leadership. So I say to you the word leadership. What do you think? What's the first thing that comes to mind? Type in the chat box just so I see actually who am I talking to? What do you guys think when I say the word leadership? Do you imagine a person? Do you imagine a man? Do you imagine a woman? Erin tells me responsibility. Yes. With great power comes responsibility. Great. What else? Share with me. We're a very casual session. Anybody nak minum kopi, minum teh, makan kari pap, go ahead, okay? I don't have any kari pap with me, but I just finished one round nasi lemak just now. Teamwork, Subhashini, nice, that's very true. Kirba, lead a group together, work together instead of making the group do the work solely. I agree. Hasniatil, you raised a hand. Do you want to say something? You can just unmute and share, no problem. Commitment, people that influence others to follow them. I like that, Johaida. Rahan, you organize a team. State or position of being a leader can be any gender. I like that, Tharani. That's exactly our mindset here. Patience, good God, that is so true. Empowering members, yes, I totally believe in empowering members. Ifa says knowledge, yes, it's a bit hard to lead if you don't have any knowledge. Person that will in charge to lead on a group of people, very true. You're at the head and you also have to take on the most responsibility, right? Gayatri, role model. Nazura again, inspiring others, yes. It's all on point. Actually, all of you are on point. I like that you understand what leadership is about. Hasniatil tells me the person who starts the steps, yes. And often the leader has to also be the one to make sure that they get everybody through. Whatever the goal is, they must make sure everyone gets through, and then they take the last bite. Essentially, you can jaga your team dulu. We spoke about empowering members, teamwork, but a leader must always make sure the team gets the benefits, gets the limelight, gets the everything first, and then they go last. That's my opinion of leadership. Thank you for sharing that. My third question before we go on to my presentation is I want you to tell me on a scale of 1 to 5, so 1 being very low and 5 being very high, great, how confident are you with your own leadership skills? Because we're here to talk about raising girls, young women into leadership. So, and you know, we're here to be very frank, very honest, very vulnerable. I want you to share with me what you think based on your potential. Okay, katakan I'm Izzati. On a scale of 1 to 5, today I feel I'm a 3 because I want to work on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Be frank. Or I feel like I'm a 5. I'm already done. Okay. Nazura is at a 3. Lagi, anyone feel free to share. This is not a judgment session. I want to see how you feel about your leadership skills. Munira is at 3. Olivia is at 3. Kirba is at 4. Still more to learn again. Alifa is at 2. Okay, Alifa, then I want you to, I hope you're in our mentorship circle. Raihan at 3, 4. I see a lot of 4s. Great. Nadia, I hope you're in our session, also mentorship circle. 3, a lot more to learn. 4, 4.5, Sharani. Okay, nice. 3. That's quite interesting. That I don't see anyone saying they're at a 5. So it could be because you're of one mindset where you say that, oh, I always have room to improve, which is great. Or you always think that, oh no, I don't think I'm good enough. Which I hope to change at the end of today, or if you're in the mentorship circle, I definitely hope our team and I can help you get through that obstacle. So there is no judgment here. There is no right or wrong answer. The idea is for us to always assess ourselves and also to always think, where are we in life? Today, our topic is about leadership. Some of you feel you're a 2, some feel 3, some feel 4, 4.5. Great. And so you need to take stock of how you feel. What are you going to do to constantly move up that ladder, right? Okay, so thank you for sharing that with me. I really appreciate it. I'll share with you my thoughts about my own leadership skills. Depending on the situation, depending on the environment, sometimes I fluctuate between a 2, yes, a 2, right down to a 5. And for me, it really depends. And this is me today as somebody who is leading an organization on a board and all that, because for me, it's very situational. I'll share with you some thoughts. So sometimes if I'm sitting in a meeting where we're discussing some very life-changing policies, I notice in my own reflection as I'm sitting there, I'm wondering, am I making the right decision? So sometimes some self-doubt comes. And what I do is I always practice certain steps to make sure I am able to get out of the self-doubt and I'm able to anchor on a decision. Then at that moment, I quickly fluctuate to a 5. I'm very comfortable and I'm very confident in this. So if this also happens to you, remember that this is completely natural and there will be periods in your life, even as you get older, that you doubt yourself. That's okay. So long as you have the tools to move yourself from a lower end of the scale to the higher end of the scale, okay? Just remember, life is it's a long journey of constantly learning. So we're all in this together. Okay, now I'm going back to my presentation, okay? Let's see, let me bring that up now. Okay, Shamira, can you voice to me if you can see my slide?
I can.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so now that you shared with me what you think about leadership, how confident you think you are, I want to share with you what I feel is confidence. Confidence is the belief that you are valuable, that you are worthwhile, and you are capable. And that when you enter a room, you're not comparing yourself to anyone else. You're very comfortable with you. Yes, I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or actually, no, I can't. And I'm totally comfortable with that. And that brings me to my second point, the optimism, meaning the very positive mindset that comes with you being very certain of your capabilities. You tahu apa yang you tak tahu, you tahu apa yang you tahu, and you tak tahu apa yang you tak tahu. And that's okay. Because as I've mentioned earlier, life is, you're constantly learning. You're always, learning is a lifelong process. That's the quote. So at some point in your life, whether you're 14, you're 24, you're 34, you're 44, there will be things you don't know and you're comfortable with that. And the third point is that sense of empowerment to act courageously, sorry for the typo there, when you are faced with a challenge. So whether you're a leader or you are training to become a leader, one of the things that makes you hold that position is the need, the responsibility. Someone said leadership is about responsibility. The responsibility to resolve issues, to resolve challenges that come to you, right? To you and your team, or you're solving a certain you're solving a certain problem statement in society. So you're looking at a challenge, right? So confidence is that sense of empowerment, that yes, I can attitude, so that you can act courageously to solve that challenge when you're faced with that challenge. So that for me is what confidence means. And we talked about leadership just now. So who is a leader and what is leadership? For those of you who's joining tomorrow, I'm going to share this again. So a leader is someone who motivates and guides other people towards achieving a better and common goal. So if you are a leader, but your goal is suspect, dodgy, are you really a good leader? Is that really who we want in our society? And leadership is the art of doing all of that, building trust, guiding other people, and walking the talk so that your team, people who have the common goal with you, can help to positively serve your targeted community. So say you are a student leader, your leadership is to build the trust with your leadership team, how many men and women in your team. Your job is also to guide them and also to positively serve the students in your university. So same for me, how am I a leader? I have built the trust with my team in G4G Malaysia and other parts of the world. I also provide them guidance, and I also execute through my own examples and through my own action-oriented task. And we hope to serve the women and girls in our community to reach their fullest potential. So always remember that it's about the people around you. Now, I mentioned earlier that in today's talk, I want to split it into two parts. I want to share some of the obstacles that we go through in leadership. And when I say us, means the women and girls here, because to be honest with you, why we are called Girls for Girls is because we take mentors, women, but at some juncture they were girls too, right? So they remember what it's like, and they're helping other women. We've all gone through the same thing. There is no new problem in this world. So I want to share with you a summary. We've got 3 main obstacles here, and this is from my research that we've done. You can read many papers on this. This is also on what I've experienced. Bila kita buat mentorship, bila I do talks, I sit with some university students, formal, informal mentorship, running organizations. This is my humble opinion on what I think are some of the obstacles. But don't worry, I also provide some solutions how we can get over them. So just now we talk about confidence, right? One of the main reasons why young women, or even older women and girls, don't go for a promotion or a leadership position or negotiate their salary higher is because they have a lack of confidence. A Hewlett-Packard research showed that men, boys, they apply for a job, a position, a promotion when they meet only 60% of the qualification, but women, girls, we apply only when we meet 100% of them. I can tell you, I used to do that too until I read this research. I thought, oh, I was being a perfectionist, and I wanted to make sure that I am actually meeting, I'm actually trying to be out on time. So for many women, the fear of offer myself for a higher salary, and at the end of the day, we are eliminating our ability to get the job in the first place. If you don't realize, this is not a Universiti Malaysia Kelantan issue, this is not a Girls in Klang Valley issue, it's not a Malaysian issue, this is all over the world, regardless of the age. Until you realize that you might need to push yourself a little bit because you've got that 40% gap, right, against the men and the boys. If we don't address this, we will not get the jobs we deserve, we will not get the salaries we deserve. And if you remember, or if you've read, there's a huge gender wage gap. What does this mean? Kita punya gaji ni, kadang-kadang when you masuk company, you will realize that the men and the women, walaupun pengajian dia sama, walaupun qualifications dia sama, dia punya gaji berbeza. Maybe the guy will get 3,000 lebih, the girl will get 2,000 lebih. Why is that? Gender bias, unconscious bias, etc. But also the men knows how to push themselves a bit more and say, yeah, I can do this, etc. This is not attacking the men, yeah. Kudos to you for getting the job and all of that. But this is to highlight to us girls and women that if we don't realize this, we're not going to make that effort to remember next time what to do, that you are shortchanging yourself. Okay, so that's the first issue that we have. I want to share with you, okay, this is an actual screenshot from my Instagram. A couple of days ago, I reposted this quote from Women of Impact. It says that when you're not used to being confident, confidence feels like arrogance. When you're used to being passive, assertiveness means pushing yourself out there, feels like aggression. Aggression means too much, to like really, really going in there. And when you're not used to getting your needs met, prioritizing yourself feels selfish. All of that is your comfort zone. And your comfort zone, let me tell you, is not a good benchmark. That is not where growth happens. I really like this quote because I can resonate with it. Especially with kita punya culture kat sini. Kadang-kadang when you are sure of yourself or you're confident, somebody will tell you, don't be arrogant. You're like, wait a second, no, I'm just sure of what I can do. I've been told this, for sure. And when you're so used to being, very quiet, submissive, orang suruh buat, you ikut je. Bila you start to assert your position, you might feel like, oh, maybe I'm being too much. I'm being too aggressive. And then when you're so used to putting everyone else first and you last, as in, I'm not talking about the leadership part I quoted just now. I'm talking about making sure you are pushing yourself to your success. It feels a bit selfish, like, oh, maybe I should give someone else the chance instead of me. So just remember that in itself is a good quote. But what I want to share with you is this conversation that I had after. I did ask permission from this lady to if I could share it on my Insta story and also here, and she was cool with it. So this lady, she was part of a championship team, and she brought the team to success. She was told by her male colleague that she was aggressive because she made the effort, she took the initiative to come up with strategies to win. She said, okay lah, tak apa, I will ignore it, because she didn't want to make everyone else feel upset because she wanted to keep everyone positive, right? Other people complimented her as being powerful, experienced, and assertive. Tapi the other guy on the team said, yeah, she's very aggressive. So aggressive has a bit of a negative connotation, kan? But she still kept quiet. And she was upset and all that. But she knew deep down, kalau dia bukan perempuan, kalau dia lelaki, somebody would have said, oh, kudos, smack you on the back. Yes, you're very strategic. And so she actually telan all these comments. She wanted to say something, but she didn't. And I missed out my comment to her after the second slide. So you go to the third slide. She said that she didn't want to cause any disharmony at the time. She wanted to keep everybody's mood up because she's not prioritizing herself. She's making sure everyone feels okay except for her. So one of the things I said to her, I said, you need to stand up for yourself. I said, you need to say something. And I'm not saying be rude, but just say something. And this is a very qualified person, and we all go through that moments of self-doubt, right? And this is very typical. Why I wanted to put it up here is I hear this from every single girl I have mentored or joined our team, said that I don't want to be too standoffish. Means she cares more about what other people think instead of what's important for her. She's trying to find a balance. So I did tell her, and this is what I want to share with you, you want to get comfortable feeling uncomfortable, because that is where you grow. But practice and all of that. So I just thought I'd share this with you because this is real life and it happens to the best of us. It happens everywhere. Okay. So second issue that we have that stops us from pursuing leadership is kita punya technical skills. There are many technical skills, but based on research and also experience, there's two main ones that I want to point out to you. Satu is the arts of communications, means macam public speaking skills, whether it's here on Zoom or maybe, for example, if I go to your university and I'm talking to all 85 of us, sometimes berpeluh juga kan, and stress, and you forget what you're going to say. And that the art of speaking publicly is one of the main reasons why people don't actually go for leadership, because they kata, I cannot do speeches. And another skill yang selalu is an obstacle for people is when it comes to negotiation. So this one is specific to women. Every employer I talk to highlights to me that majority of women don't negotiate, especially their salary. So forget trade or their rights or their hours or anything like that. Your basic fundamental right, what is going to put food on your table, we don't negotiate. Bila HR atau the company bagi salary, you say terima kasih, ambil, you tak negotiate or you tak research what is your full worth based on your capabilities in your CV. So that is one of the key reasons why globally, this is not masalah Malaysia je ya, globally there is this issue about gender wage gap, because starting point dia, kita dah handicap, kita tak negotiate. Mostly because young girls and even middle-aged girls don't want to be seen as pushy. You saw the message earlier, right? She didn't want to be seen as pushy, and a lot of people are like that. And also don't tak prepare. Bila nak negotiate, nak do a speech, you must always prepare. Nobody goes in like that. Prof spoke about my mom. My mom was a public figure, and I remember when I was younger, in the early days, she always prepares. And of course, over so many decades, she got better and she can wing it. But when I was younger, I remember seeing her prepare. Dia tulis speech, dia research, dia practice. And it's the same thing with how a lot of highly qualified and capable women do. So my last line there is, these are not skills anyone is born with, but you must intentionally practice it. The third issue here is the support system issue. So what do I mean by this? This can be your family, your friends. What we call in G4G when you join us tomorrow is your tribe, your village, your cheerleaders. Anybody, we are all manusia. Anybody needs a support system. People who can tell you that, yes, of course you can. So basically here, any of us need a network. And I want to leave this with you. Your network is your net worth. It's very important to build people you know. Number two, you need a positive reinforcement group. Somebody who says, yes, you can. Yes, you can, Daniel. Yes, you can, Shamira. And just people on the same wavelength. Because if you want to be better, you want to be around people who want the same thing or are already better. And if you don't have these things, it might be the reason why you don't have enough confidence to pursue a specific leadership position, because you have so much, there's that voice in your head that says, oh no, maybe I tak boleh, maybe I tak boleh. But a support system is very important to give you that last nudge, to negotiate your salary, to take that position, to apply for the job even, right? Okay. Back with you in the group chat. How are you feeling? Was I going too fast? Can you understand what I mean by some of the obstacles that we're dealing with? Are you guys okay? Thumbs up if you are. Yeah, how are we feeling? Husna's good, Nazura's good. Okay, so these are, I'm not saying Atinavila's good. I'm not saying that you have this issue, but this is a general thing that happens with women and girls worldwide. So thank you, Munira, Hikmah, Fatin, you guys are good. Okay, but Pratik clearly understands. This is something we all go through together. When you join G4G in session, we have speakers, we have mentors, and you feel free to ask them. These are problems they went through as well. I've gone through it as well. Maybe some of you resonate with one or two things I've said. Now, okay, now I put back the slide. It's important for you to recognize what are the obstacles, because like if you're a doctor and you don't identify the problem first, you cannot rectify it. Kita tak boleh betulkan. So what I've told you is generally what happens. This is based on data, research, experience, sharing sessions, mentorship circles. So if you resonate with any of it, don't feel bad. Don't feel like, oh, don't feel even more down, because this is actually a really good thing. Mata kita dah terbuka, kan? So take notes. If you're near your notepad now, or if you're writing things, take note about how you feel. When I said any of those things, did you realize, oh, maybe I do that too? Or maybe, oh yeah, this incident, somebody offered a position, but I was too scared to take it. Write those things down, because you need to realize where you need to put work in. So as promised, the first part was about some of the issues or obstacles that we have. But how do we get over these obstacles? So we spoke about confidence first thing tadi. So the solution is, how do we crack this confidence code? I've got 3 bits here. The first thing is, must always speak up. You saw in the screenshot that I shared tadi, that was an actual conversation with a follower / somebody I got to know on Instagram. That is really important to speak up. Kalau you telan how you feel, it's really going to eat you alive. And when I say speak up, I never advocate to be kurang ajar in any way to anybody. That's not nice, whether you're a man or woman. But we must learn how to think first. Okay, what is it that offended me? What is it that I want fixed? Is this a very rational request? And then kita articulate properly. Sometimes I do that when it's a really difficult conversation, and I know kalau I buka mulut, I'm really going to attack somebody. So I take a pause, I type it out. Okay. So I wrote over here, it's not enough to be in a role or position sahaja or to sit at the table. What I mean by sit at the table is you're part of the decision-making team. You must be able to speak confidently, regardless of what happens after that. At the end of the day, you want to be able to sleep well at night because you know you did the right thing. So women leaders, girl leaders, sometimes we're afraid of being ostracized or people don't like us. But you must understand that people will respect you when they realize that your voice, your values are heard. So you need to make sure your presence is known, that you feel a certain way, or that that you have a certain stance on things. You need to trust your own voice. I want to share with you something I went through similarly. I would say 2 weeks ago, I was sitting in a meeting, and in the meeting, I was the only lady. It was a decision-making meeting, and all the men made a decision a certain way. And I was listening. I wasn't comfortable with the decision all the men made. And this was at the end of the meeting. Pagi tu, it was already very difficult. I dah push banyak kali. So petang tu, the last decision we had to make, I was not comfortable with where everyone was going, and I'm like, do I really want to push this again? And I paused, and I told myself, if I don't speak up, I'm going to forever regret this. So I really had to push myself and say, and it was a very unpopular decision I had to say, because I would be pointing out people at the table punya mistakes. And I said, I'm so sorry, gentlemen, but I have to say this doesn't sit very well with me. I'm not very comfortable because 1, 2, 3. You can vote how you want, you can go with the majority of what you want, but this is where I stand. So I've said my piece, right? In the next 10 minutes, all the men changed their decision and they supported what I said. So my point being that you have to speak up if you feel that that is right. And trust your voice and make sure your presence is known. That's number 1. Number 2, we need to tackle the imposter syndrome. As you rise, so today you hold a position, tomorrow you hold a +1 position, and +2, +3, as the years go by, inshallah, you will always rise through the ranks. Now, as you get better and you hold a bigger position, something's going to come to you, and it's called the imposter syndrome. Some of the most qualified women in this world, not just here, not just in your school, but globally, people yang run the governments in US, etc., have gone through some point in their life called imposter syndrome. What does this mean? This means that bila you rasa that you don't qualify for what you have already earned. Say you have a position as kata adun, local leader dekat your kawasan. Tapi in your head you're like, alamak, I got here by mistake. I don't think I deserve to be here. That is called imposter syndrome, because you don't credit yourself for all the hard work you did, rezeki, luck, connections, your effort, your failures before, everything. You forget all that and you think, oh, you're just there by mistake. That's imposter syndrome. It's going to come up at some point. So I tell you to be able to recognize it early in life is very important, because when you're able to understand, oh, and you recognize this is imposter syndrome, you talk to yourself, reflect with yourself and think, why do I feel this way about myself? Why do I feel like I don't deserve to be here? And then you make sure you work with your team of your supporters and all that, so that they can remind you. If you cannot remind yourself, people can remind you that actually you deserve to be here. And thirdly is to overcome perfectionism. I don't know if any of you have encountered this, but sometimes we go through this thing called analysis paralysis. What this means is bila you are analyzing so much, every single detail sampai full stop pun you analyze, which is great for documents, yeah, don't get me wrong. But what happens is that you suddenly become paralyzed. You cannot make a decision. When you're not able to move, bila paralysis tu dah tak boleh gerak kan? When you're not able to move, you are then not able to go to the next step, which by definition is progress. So if that happens to you because you are really trying to make everything perfect, and why I bring this up is data shows a lot of women go through this, you try reflection. Reflection means kita duduk, we ask ourselves actually, why is this important to me? Do I really need this, etc. I take a short pause, deep breath, meditation, etc. Because you need to remember that aiming for perfection to a point where it affects your ability to take action is enemy of good and also done, more importantly done. Caveat about this clause though is that I'm not saying don't do a perfect document like when you're submitting for your classes, but this is in a bigger picture. Macam when you need to decide you nak apply for a job, for example, tapi maybe you've got a lot of skills, you have so many options, you don't decide on anything, you're just analyzing all your options, suddenly next thing you know, dah setahun you didn't make any decision. So you've lost 1 year. That's what I mean, right? Maybe you should just go for it and you never know what will happen then. So those are my 3 points about cracking the confidence code. Speak up, identify and address your imposter syndrome, and overcome perfection, because perfect is the enemy of good and done. Second is building our technical know-how, because tadi the second issue I pointed was kadang-kadang we don't have a technical capability, right? So I mean the common sense answer to this is go for classes, go for training, go for all those things where you build your skills. But I want to share with you some more psychological and behavioral points that you need to make sure you actually get over the technical obstacle. Number satu, you need to embrace failure. I know a lot of people in the older generation and really like to ketuk my head when I say embrace failure, because the older generation doesn't understand. Maybe that's right. That's a big brush. It's a different conversation we're having. What I mean by embracing failure is in your first few practice sessions and your first real life attempts, you'll make some mistakes because you're not a pro yet. But every pro has started out as a novice. You must have gone through some failure. Don't let it bring you down. Understand like, oh, okay, I'm going to learn from this process. Keep positive and take that next step. So embrace failure as a stepping stone. You know that if you have failed means what's the good thing is that you took action, and that is bigger and better than what most people will do. Take then the next step positively with all the lessons you have learned. That's what I mean by embrace failure. Number 2 is be authentically you. And I wrote there that this is the most comfortable way to live in an uncomfortable growth zone. I keep talking about the uncomfortable growth zone. What I mean by this is kita ada kita punya comfort zone kan, everything within that circle is something we can do, but a greater position, a greater salary is in a far bigger circle in areas you're not familiar with. So you have to get out of your comfort zone, and then by definition it's an uncomfortable area. Be okay with that. Tell yourself, okay, I might have anxiety, I might be, I really don't like this, I want to get out. Pause. Learn how to swim through the uncomfortable waters in your own style. Because if I, Izzana, try to do something in the way Shamira does, I cannot do it because we have very different skills. I'll give you an example. When I know my stuff, I'm very confident. I can, speak up here, no problem. But then when I come across a situation where I've never encountered it before, I have no experience, I notice, how do I remain authentically me? I want to learn. But I make sure that, I notice that I don't say anything first. I always observe. So that's very me. If I don't know, I diam. I will just observe first, and then I will try, and I notice, I give a caveat. But this is Izzana style, right? I give a caveat, okay guys, I'm going to try this, but it's my first time, so give me support when I'm doing this. That is me in my uncomfortable position, but that's my style. So try to identify what works for you so that you can navigate through your difficult points. And then third, which sometimes people who don't like to get any criticisms find this very difficult, but always ask for feedback. This is a gold mine because literally somebody is analyzing for you and giving you the report. So always ask. If you don't get a job, ask. If you have a partnership that failed, ask. If you led a team and then they voted you out, be humble and ask, because that is how you grow. You learn from your failures and you jump to success from there, from what you have learned. And the last key point here is about finding your tribe and loving them hard. Just now I told you, tribe is your support system, your cheerleaders, your village. Village is kampung, kan? But what I mean by village here is like people who are always there for you, your community, your people. How do you find your tribe, and why do you need to make sure you love them hard? Number one, birds of a feather flock together. So find networks of women who, from what you see, think and also do things the way you want to. If you are here and you want to get here, you find people who are already at this level so that you can grow into it, right? So a suggestion is find networks of women who think the way you would like to. For me, I have my Girls for Girls. I'm also part of Lean In. Lean In was the way I first started because that was how I realized actually the importance of a network. We think the same way. We are very supportive of each other. When we're down, we have each other's back, and that's built through the years, right? So I'm not saying, oh, you only have to go to these two organizations, and I'm giving examples of what worked for me, but you need to find whether it's in your area or it's online, or even if you are someone who thinks very internationally, you want to find overseas networks. It's up to you. Do what works for you, be authentically you. Join them as a volunteer, immerse yourself, because when you're able to find the experience, you're able to grow. Even if it's a you have to intern or volunteer, it's for free, but it's about you're investing in yourself, right? And there's a saying, you'll become the average of the 5 people you're always with. And I find that this is true. At different points in my life, I have different types of friends. And I tend to, you absorb, you listen, you mirror people who you are always around. So make sure you choose very wisely. If you don't like that person, or if they are not where you want to be, means future tense, yeah? Find people who are there already and find your way in. Number 2, power of the pack. It's very important because a woman alone may have power, but collectively we all have impact. What do I mean by this is, I give an example. Masa, I first wanted to start Girls for Girls. I tried to do it alone because it was easier. I knew what I wanted, and I thought I could get it done faster. But there was no way. The first year I tried to do it, and I had to travel for work. I could not get G4G up and running. But then slowly I had team members join who said they wanted to volunteer, and it was only with the first group. We were a very small group. When I first started Alone Tak Jalan, then another 3 girls joined. When the 4 of us were together, then only we were able to create impact. And that is the important thing. They became my tribe. We were part of the journey together, and it's very hard to pay for that. It's very hard to subscribe to that. You have to build your power pack together. I don't know if you guys know this phrase, but the boys club. And when you enter a workspace or even in any cultural environments, the boys are always together. So we need to build this girls club. Always, you need to build your people, bring more women to where you are. There's no problem with making sure that there's equal amounts of men and women. And your collective strength, bila ada banyak orang who think like you and are like you will make that table, the decisions made at that table, better. And the last point is prioritize relationship building, not networking. And this is something I've learned. This is something my mentors have advised me. And also it's something I observe. That when you network, people think, oh, tukar business cards, send some emails, do some projects together. That is not the same as actually building relationships which you can depend on. What I understand is the people here, you're around 22, 24. You already got to start building your relationships. Not just in UMK, but also outside. Because when you invest in a relationship sincerely, you are building an everlasting partnership. And to keep all these connections alive, they must always be nurtured, right? You need to be able to to understand intuitively what the people in your all these different relationships are about, so that later on when you need to say, hey, I need to work on this with you, or hey, can you help me with that, it has a very strong foundation. Only you didn't just exchange business cards, but you sincerely know the person. Yeah? So what you can do is seek out people you admire, you can ask them for advice, participate with them, and that's how you keep building relationships. Basically, you need to do things, don't wait for things to come to you. So, in summary, I'll show you, we had the confidence issue, and this was how you solve the confidence issue. We had the technical issue, and you resolve it by embracing failure, be you, and ask for feedback as you're going for all these classes, technical classes. And there was an issue about support system. How you do it is you find your tribe and you love them hard. Look for people you want to be like. Make sure you are always, you're bringing girls to the table, and build a relationship, not just a network. So if you have any questions, but check out our Instagram if you haven't already, Project Girls for Girls, that's our global one. Girls for Girls Malaysia, that's our local one. And mine, if you want to know personally about what I do. And sometimes girls reach out to me for any questions that I can help them with. It's Izzana Salleh. So sometimes I will check and I'll help you. I will help guide you through things. So that is a little bit about my sharing for today. Shamira, what I'd like to do now is actually open up if anybody has any questions, whether prepared, not prepared. I want to get the conversation going.
Sure, Ms. Izzana. I think before that, in conclusion, thank you so much for your speech just now, for your presentation. I think I resonate a lot with what you said. It definitely relates a lot. I think not only me, for the rest of us as well. And then one more. I think I have a question first. As far as I read, the US embassy has these statistics where only 35% of women worldwide, have been involving themselves and becoming a part of the policy making, or involving themselves in politics. So how do you think we can improve that percentage by, because involvement of women in policy making. Is the line okay? Okay.
I can hear
So,
you.
okay. So involvement of women in policy making has made drastic and also obvious change in the formation of the country. So what do you think about that?
Is the question how to get more women involved in politics and policy?
Yes, because it has been proven the involvement of women in policy making and also becoming a politician actually changes how the country is.
For sure. So that's what this whole thing is about, right? You know that if you want there to be more women in politics, literally the woman needs to be there, right? But sometimes why we do what we do at G4G is sometimes women don't want to raise their hand or move their literal foot to the door and apply for that to join a political party, because there's two things here. You're talking about politics, which is you increase that by joining political parties, or in policy that means that macam government work means you have to join civil service, PTD and all that. Itu lain ya, berlainan. To join politics is a totally different game than to be a policy maker, like being a KSU or KSN, for example. But the point is that you have to enter the system. NGOs, student body organizations, etc., it's at the periphery. This is not where the decisions are made. So, number one, I agree with you absolutely. When there is diversity, not just in gender, but in race and all of that, you get a better reflection of what the people need. Leaders punya breakdown, the percentage tu has to reflect the population. So for example, in Malaysia, kita punya population of wanita 49 to 51%, it fluctuates, right? But whatever it is, it's half the population. Bila masuk parlimen, bila masuk kabinet, kita punya percentage di antara 10 hingga 14% sahaja. So, do we have enough voices representing women and girls in decision-making platforms or cabinet and government? The answer is straight up not enough. So we need more women who are in this conversation and who are out there to have the confidence in themselves to step up into their leadership. So you go back to all the things I said, sometimes women, why there's not enough women out there, aside from systemic issues and sabotage, blah, blah, blah. Why, if kalau just hal ehwal wanita atau perempuan tu sendiri, kenapa dia tak masuk into leadership position? Because of the things I told you, confidence issue. They feel like they cannot, they takut nak bagi speech because you want to be a politician. Agaknya you have to be very good at giving a speech, kan? And then number 3, your surroundings, your family, your mak mentua, your husband maybe don't support you. Who knows? I don't know. But that I gave you the three solutions. There are ways around things. So definitely it is stepping into your leadership. Take the action to join the system. Join whichever political party that resonates with you. Rise up through there because that's how it works. You cannot be a politician, an MP, an ADUN if you are not with an organization, not with a political party. So you got to sign up somewhere. I'm not saying where, you join wherever. For me, I mean, Prof has told you who my mom is, but my encouragement is for young women to step into leadership in political parties or kementerian atau PT that is bersesuaian dengan you, what is authentically you. But you must take that action. Did I answer your question, Shamira?
Definitely.
Okay, I'll
Thank
answer
you so
the
much.
question in the chat, no problem. So Hidaya's got a question. Education is very important for all people, but still a lot of prejudice against women and education. Yes. They say that no matter how far the woman educates herself, the end will be at home as the housewife. I know this really irks me. So what do you think about this one? Unfortunately, this is the landscape that is 100% prevalent in previous generation. However, I would say that in my generation, your generation, I don't know if you consider me the same as yours, but there is a slight change. For example, in my very own screen, we've got Cik Daniel here, who has taken the effort to put in a women empowerment program. Would that happen previous generation? Tak good. So hopefully, men, you see, I don't believe that this is just all on women. It's everybody's responsibility. And I imagine Cik Daniel, when he runs a family, he would understand the importance of being equally empowered, that both husband and wife need to work. If this is the decision that needs to work, and he must empower her as much as she empowers him. So hopefully there is a generational change. So we as women, what can we do? And this is my opinion, yeah? 1, if we have sons, we raise them to be better men. Men who understand, because the onus is on us, right? They always say, okay, women, you raise the house. All right, let's raise the house. We raise young men and boys who are going to understand the importance of gender equality. Men and boys who are going to be part of, okay, if I need to do work at home, I also kena cuci pinggan, I also kena kemas rumah and things like that equal. And you also raise girls who will go out and earn that money, who will go out and be CEO, who will go out and become Prime Minister. It is equal platform. Dulu lain, sebab environment lain, skills lain. Itu cerita dulu, tak apa. Now kita ambil cerita sekarang. What are we gonna do? If I have a son, that's definitely how I will raise a son. I'm not married yet, so whenever that happens. And of course, as you know, through G4G, we look to empower women every day. So to answer your question, Hidayah, it is true. In fact, I still get this question. I've got 3 degree, kerja kat mana, set up my own company, running global team. The question is still, Izzana, you boleh masak ke? It is a mindset issue. So we just have to keep pursuing changing people punya mindset. Hidayah, gelak. Tapi betul tau. I can be so great. Boleh-boleh, tahu masak tak? Tahu buat kari tak? I'm like, I don't know, and that's not my problem. But the point is, we have to change the mindset around us. Keep talking about it. Keep pushing. Keep being an example for it. Okay. if other people push you and say you don't know your place, stand strong. Stand strong, because that's gonna come. You don't know your place. You sepatutnya dekat dapur, dekat rumah aja. Stand strong. Don't need to fight. People like that, dia punya mentality dah old school, dah outdated. You just keep doing you, literally. Erin, what do you think about mansplains? This happens a lot. Same thing, it's a mindset thing. It happens. It's a cultural thing. That's why we're looking to change this culture that we have here and everywhere. If somebody mansplains over you, when they are done, you make sure you exert your authority or your credibility in that situation. Raihan Adni, I get that women have to speak up and have confidence to start, but the root of this confidence problem is women tend to feel insecure. God, I understand. The insecurity feelings lead to a thought that that people might not support what I'm saying. So how do we overcome the insecurity feelings and stop comparing to each other? Okay, so when I was a bit younger, I can sit in meetings and sit in rooms and never say a single thing. I became like a wallpaper. I would sit at the back. I would not sit at the table where decisions are made, because I was always feeling very insecure. Now, what can be done to do that? The reason why school gives you a lot of homework is that is actually a really good practice in life. If you're going into a meeting and you memang jenis maybe ada anxiety, memang takut nak speak up, do your homework beforehand. If you're going into a meeting that have people who can decide a future for you, or can give you a letter of recommendation for university, or somebody you want to impress, or even you just want to be able to say something in the meeting, do your homework beforehand. Maybe you don't know what they're going to talk about, tapi you prepare. You baca dulu maybe some topics about whatever's going to be discussed the next day in that meeting or that gathering. And if you're the type that gets nervous, please write down, whether in your phone or your notebook, what is it you want to say. I used to be the type yang dulu kalau nak cakap apa-apa menggeletar nak mampus. And I was like, when can I get over this? But the more you practice, the more comfortable you are at being authentically you in front of a mic or speaking publicly, the less scary it's going to be. Embrace that failure of shaking, of saying the wrong thing, of menggelabah. Embrace that failure. That's what I mean. You're going to stumble, and that's totally okay. So make sure you prepare. Do your homework first. Remind yourself, have a guide, paper, whatever it is, and make sure you always speak up. And how do you stop comparing to each other? This is a bit of a journey to stop comparing yourself to someone else. You have to first start by overcoming your insecurity. And then when you just keep on focusing on you, just your own success, and you need to feel happy for other people, that's when you stop comparing to someone else. But the reality is we're all human, and you will be happy for someone else when you are happy for yourself. So when you work on yourself, when you embrace that failure, the few times you tersasul lah apa benda, and then you'll get better. Naturally, you'll get better. This is how humans work. And then you start feeling happy for yourself. And then you will naturally feel happy for other people. Because you're like, oh, I'm good at this. You're good at this too. Clap, clap, clap for you and me. And then you naturally, I find that in my 30s, I'm really comparing myself less to other people. Because I'm happy with where I am. I'm happy for where you are. So #women empowering women. But you need to remember to work on yourself first lah. It doesn't happen naturally. It takes time. It takes time like years. It's not going to happen over 5 months. Okay. I hope that helps, Raihan. No hikmah. As we know, everyone is different. The way we think, opinions, but not everyone nasib baik. Seperti berada di suatu yang toxic and bullying. Agree. Being a victim of bullying is some situation that hard and no words can express situation and feelings. Okay, what matters happened. She didn't get any support from anyone, but she chose to keep doing for what she wants, try to work for everyone, even though there's no one. So sad. For me, I admire her strength. So how about you? What words do you want to give? Hikmah, can you confirm with me you want my words for somebody who's going through a bullying experience? Is that what you want? Just say yes. Or, yeah, okay. So it's really unfortunate, and I'm so sorry for your friend who's going through this bullying experience. It is not okay. If you see someone bullying someone else, call that person out. Kita tak boleh benarkan benda macam ni terjadi, especially in today's day and age. You know, to be a cyber bully is so easy. You can sit at home, sit anywhere quietly, you know, troll account and just attack anybody. That's cyberbullying. Face-to-face bullying lagi lah. This is not okay. And if we see it, remember that we have the moral responsibility to call it out and fix it. So that's my first statement. But for your friend, actually, it's really important for him or her, or you said she, so for her to not go through it alone. I'm not saying that she needs to depend on you, because this might be way out of your capabilities, but maybe what you can encourage your friend is maybe dia kena jumpa, I don't know what the situation is, but maybe dia kena jumpa a counselor, maybe dia nak kena jumpa somebody yang has a professional capability to support. I'm not saying necessarily go to your university counselor. You need to find help that is suitable to you. Online nowadays, there's a lot of support available. So if it's a school issue, then maybe you need to go to school for admin stuff. But if it's macam women's harassment, you can go to women's aid organization atau awam. If you, whatever it is, you need to get external support, because if the person is down and the person is like very sad, tries to do everything, but there's no one for her, you try to be just a bridge. Don't try to resolve it yourself, because especially now masa pandemic, mungkin kita masing-masing ada masalah kan. We have our shoulders are filled with our own problems, but maybe try to bridge to a resource. Yeah, what I always recommend young girls who are going through some kind of bullying, women's aid organization, awam, they're very good, and they do provide services. Kalau tak, actually I think Kementerian Wanita has a talian to help, 15999. I know now people who have food aid issue and all that, I do give that number. And also if it's a bigger issue that needs like a few authorities to come in, call them. I hope that helps, Hikmah. No Hidayah, do we really need to change the introvert person to be more extrovert sebelum jadi pemimpin? No. Be authentically you. If you are an extrovert, ambivert, introvert, stay that way. Because if you try to be somebody else, you will not last long, you will not go far, because it's very difficult to fake and be someone else for your whole life. Be yourself. Know your strengths and weaknesses. Kalau you're not the rah-rah, hentak the rostrum kind of leader, don't be. It's okay. There are many women leaders examples out there who are not very loud. You just have to look for them. Look for people who are like you. If you are an introvert, look around. Ada. But please don't change yourself. You will not last long. You will not be effective. If you are introvert but you are the type yang buat kerja, you get things done, do it that way. Because let me tell you, kadang-kadang orang yang extrovert, very loud, very creative, they cannot get the work done. Your best asset is that you are yourself. The day you try to be somebody else, susah. It's not the long game you want to play. You can survive maybe 2 months, but you cannot after that. Okay, Nazura. Who inspired me the most about her leadership other than my mother? You know, somebody asked me this question a couple of months ago. Dulu, my answer is like Michelle Obama lah, itulah, AOC. But I'll tell you honestly, for me now, especially masa COVID ni kan, I'm seeing a lot of women, single mothers yang kena jaga family. You know, from the B40 community, they struggle to feeding the children, educating the children and everything. The grit and perseverance that those women have, it cannot match all these global leaders yang ada support system beratus-ratus orang. All these women yang the ones I just described, the strength that they have is God sent. I find them so inspiring, because any day I feel like giving up, and I understand what strengths I have. I understand where maybe I have a support system yang melebihi orang lain. I understand that, and I'm forever grateful for that. But whenever I feel like I'm down, or rasa macam I tak nak kerja, or rasa macam, oh, life is hard, I always look to all these women who are really pulling their family to stay alive through this COVID period. So I can't name a name, but it's that community. I hope that answers your question. Erin, what if you just can't fit in, so you had to fake yourself? Why do you want to fit in? There's a thing. Why do you want to fit in when you're born to stand out? Be authentically you. Be authentically you, because if you try to be like other people, fake yourself to be like someone else, like I said just now, you're not going to last. You might not fit your current environment. Maybe at university you won't fit. Maybe you're meant to be on international level. You never know. Maybe you're meant to be with a different crowd of people. But what you learn here is that whatever it is and you cannot fit in, that is not where you want to be in life. So don't change yourself. Change the environment, or change the people who are around you, who make you feel like you don't fit in. There's always a place for you. And the only way for you to realize that, if you don't change yourself, you need to remember that okay, maybe at where you are right now is not what's going to suit you. That's okay. Move, for example. Maybe work in another area which can suit you. But if you fake yourself, it's very hard to identify what will really suit you. No, Husna, in my opinion, what's the first step that someone should do in order to get out of the comfort zone? Something that someone that never stand out should do. What you need to do is sign up for something, or say yes to something you never thought you would, before you have the time to change your mind. That is honestly how I challenged myself accidentally. I challenged myself. Someone will give me an opportunity, which, to be honest, I might feel like it's a bit big or a bit too much, and I'm not capable. I don't have the skills. Tapi my mulut ni will say yes first, and then after that I will figure it out somehow. And that's the only way to challenge yourself. You've already committed, right? You've already publicly said to somebody or on a public platform that yes, you will do something. So you will have to learn the skills, and that's the fastest way to grow. Babatarani, good day. As a leader, how do we align organization members with our mission and vision? That's a very good question. I think a lot of check-ins are very important. It's very important for you as a leader to not think that you are the only one who has the right answer to everything. In fact, that's often not the case. So it's very important for you to do check-in sessions with your team, number one, so they can voice out to you what is happening on the ground or what they really feel. So in order to do that, number two, you need to create an environment where people feel comfortable to speak up and tell you the truth. Sometimes you can have a check-in session, tapi kalau you are very authoritative, you tak bagi orang space to be themselves and talk, they will not tell you the truth because they want to protect themselves, and you will not get the right data point to better your organization. So culture in an organization that people need to be able to tell you the truth and tell you in itself is very important. So check in often and create the right culture/environment for them to tell you what's going on. So those moments are when you reinforce, okay, this is our mission. Are we doing the right task towards our mission? How do you feel about it? Like you always check in with them. Have your finger on the pulse of what's happening. Nazura, back to the earlier question, maybe they don't have any other option to be strong. Correct. And to be honest, that's why their strength and grit is so strong that I really admire that. They didn't have a choice and they just rose through it. To go through the kind of trial and tribulation and to survive is so admirable and kind of scary that for me is I always find inspiration there. True, they didn't have a choice and that there is a key, whatever it is, but the least we can do is salute and really respect that. Sharani, being you doesn't satisfy people because they expect us to be another way. How would you face this? But the question you should ask is, does it satisfy you? You cannot live your life wanting to satisfy other people, whether it is your friends, whether it is your family, with all due respect. You must be comfortable with your values. Am I doing this right or wrong? Am I comfortable with this? What do I consider right? And am I doing it right? And if you are dissatisfied with yourself, can you live with that person for the next, I don't know, 60, 80 years? Can you live with that person who you are trying to be just to satisfy someone else, but you are not satisfied yourself? I would try and change the mindset a bit, because you have to live with you forever, you know? And if you are not proud, and if you cannot back yourself, you're just trying to kejar the satisfaction of someone else, it's going to be a very difficult life. So understand how to be an authentic you. Are you proud of the person that you are? I hope that answers you, Sharani. Basically, I'm saying don't worry about other people. Live for yourself. That's very important. It's always a victim blaming game, Miss Being Ourselves. Can you tell me a bit more about this? What do you mean by it's a victim blaming game? Feel free to unmute yourself and share something here as well, if you want, or you can just type. But can you share with me a bit more what you mean by a victim blaming game? Do you mean like we're always saying, oh, it's my fault, that person doesn't like me? Is that what you mean? Maybe you can type a yes or a no. Okay, well, I'm not sure if you're still there, but you have to be you have to always support you first. Like when you are like when you are in the plane, if there is no oxygen, the the equipment comes down for you to put oxygen for yourself first, right? Why is that? If you don't fix yourself, if you don't give yourself the oxygen, if you don't take care of yourself first, you can't take care of someone else. Hikmah says, oh, Sharani, it's like anything you do turns out wrong just because we make us cry. All right. Do you want to come online? Maybe voice it out a little bit. I'm not understanding what you mean by that. Do you want to share a little bit? I'm happy if there's a certain situation that you want to share. I can give you some pointers, if framework, how to resolve that. Or you can just DM me. If it's a bit private and you don't want to share here, you can just DM me. I'll share with you some thoughts. Oh, your friends are supporting you. These are good friends.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, it's like this. This is the situation. It's like you do everything like with the wholehearted, and it turns out like other way. It's like you do everything that makes you think, okay, you're doing 100%, and it's always turns out you the one become the bad person.
Somebody who's in that same situation then blames you if it turns out not right.
Yep, not like it's not like it looks like bad for them, but for me, I didn't do anything that makes look like a bad thing. But it's always like blaming game. It's always blaming game. It's always like that. But when we do everything wholeheartedly, it's always a blaming game. When we think, oh, it's because our character is like that, maybe we should change. But mistake, right? Like you shouldn't change for anyone. But my bottom of my heart always say like, hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
My bottom of my heart always say that you shouldn't change, but people around me always like, you should change, you should do like this. Like it's always like that's the situation makes me like looks. I'm the bad person. And it makes me like, I have a self-doubt, or maybe I should do better, or maybe I'm doing bad thing.
Okay, thank you for sharing. I understand it better now. So when I say be authentically you, don't change, means don't change just because someone says, oh, I don't like this part of you, I don't like this personality of yours, and I say you need to change, so you change. That's what you need to do actually is assess, because in life sometimes we are wrong, but you need to assess, are you wrong? And if you're wrong, how are you wrong? Where did you go wrong? If it is true that maybe there's a certain personality you need to change, what you can do is actually talk to someone else about it. So that's why it's really important in life you have a mentor, somebody who is older, has been through life, who you can share very detailed story of that situation, to share, like, did I do this right? Did I do this wrong?
Miss, excuse for a few seconds.
Sure.
Miss said is this program is named as Girls for Girls, right? But it's always not like that. It's always girls opposite of girls.
Oh, sorry, say that again?
This program name is like Girls for Girls, right? Something like that. But it's always not like that. It's always like girls opposite of girls.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know.
I get you. And to be honest, that's the reason why we called this organization, my co-founders and I, because historically, women are not supporting women, and that's the reason why we are not where we should be to our fullest potential. What we're trying to do as an organization is change that mindset. And I shared with you earlier, I shared with the earlier, I think somebody had asked a question. I shared that if you are happy with yourself, you will eventually, you're not going to look at someone else's periuk nasi or someone else's life because you're happy with yourself. So people, women or girls who are always competing or who are always trying to bring down the other person, it is symptomatic of them not being happy with their own lives. But we don't want to be that person. Kita tak payah nak betulkan orang lain. If we are wrong, kita betulkan diri. If we are right, you stand your ground. So a quick one just to answer that is, make sure you have a mentor you can talk to run through the situation. If you do have a personality fault, you're only human, that could happen. At least you have some, and it's that other person, at least you have heard feedback that who doesn't have their heart at the right place. But you must bounce it off with someone else who has a bit more experience. Because sometimes if you go contemporary, you all know the same thing. But if you share it with a mentor or somebody older, I don't know if you're close to your parents or whatever it is. But it's true, women, and that's precisely why we call this organization Girls for Girls. We must get into the habit of empowering each other. But that honestly only happens when you are happy with yourself. You're not happy with yourself, you're not going to be happy for someone else. Yeah, I see.
Thank you.
I hope it resolves, but do bounce it off with someone else, okay? You're only human. It could be you made a mistake, but it could also very well be the other person. But talk to someone. The details. The devil are in the details, as they say.
Thank you, Miss. Sure will do.
Sure, no problem. Fatin says, I notice pretty ones easily get attention, especially when they're speaking. How can we get good attention regardless of our looks? So actually, Fatin, Nabila, you're on my screen. I think you're really pretty. Even though you're like munching on your keropok or whatever it is. I do think you are a beautiful person. So to be honest with you, this is gonna sound very cliche and very anti, I'm not sure. If you have the confidence and you think that you are beautiful and you siapkan diri to be beautiful in your own way, janganlah, don't be slikeh, always dress up. Your face, your features is something that God has given you. Embrace it, right? You have beautiful eyebrows, you have beautiful eyes, and you have got great face shape. Why do you think why do you not consider yourself as someone who's pretty and all of that? Although having said that, my point is that if you are confident, it should not matter how you look, it will come out. You will stand straight, you will speak well, you will smile, and as a package you're glowing, it comes out better. Hidayah, beauty is not everything. Of course it's nice when some people are beautiful, but after a certain age dah hilang kot the beauty too. You gotta be beautiful, you gotta have a nice personality. Have you met someone yang memang muka dia cantik tapi perangai dia memang teruk? There's a bunch of people like that out there, and do you consider that beautiful? Not really. For me, if you have a good personality, that's what you should look for first, because that lasts a lifetime. Kalau muka dia cantik, elok, great lah. But if you know how to take care of yourself, whether you're a man or woman, everybody needs to take care of themselves to look nice and presentable and good. You will become a full package.
Just now, I guess Umaira had raised your hand. Do you have any question? Or is it a mistake? Okay, cool. Okay.
Erin, you say you're considered fat in Malaysia. So if you are overweight to a point where you are unhealthy, you must take care of that first. Your health is very important. Not just because of what people would do. Sorry, say that again.
Actually, I'm not that fat. I like my body. I really do. But then my neighbor keep on saying that Erin dah montel kan, geram. And I'm like, what?
I hope that's a lady who said that and not a guy.
Oh, it's a lady. It's a lady.
Okay.
Oh my god. It would be so weird if it's a guy.
Just making sure. Erin, if you are happy with it, if you love your body, that's all that matters. Tak kira lah makcik nyebuk ke rumah sebelah tu. It really doesn't matter. I used to be I used to be so legit fat. And it used to affect me psychologically so much as a kid. But at the end of the day, it's
MashaAllah.
I see your friend Shamira says, Erin, you're beautiful. Cuba. The urge to start or speak first in public would be the common problem when she's confident. How about the urge to grow up? Cuba, can you come online? Can you share a little bit what you mean by this? Hi, Kirubai. I just wanted a bit of clarification about your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead with your question. Can you clarify a little bit?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, yes. Can you come up again, because I'm having some line connection problem. So can you come up? What have you said just now?
I asked you to clarify a bit your question. The urge to start or speak first in public would be the common problem when she has the confidence. How do the urge to grow? What is the urge to grow up? I'm not really understanding the question.
Oh, all right. Like for instance, like myself, I could speak up. I could have the points to say something, but I really don't start first. I will ask my friends or somebody else. I do wait for things to start, for people to start first. Then I will continue the points. I'll continue the turn. But when asking me to start, I will just say silence. So basically, it's like the urge to start, the urge to like volunteer yourself first it's very minimal in oneself. So yeah, that's why I'm asking, like, how for a girl or for a female leader to come up like, okay, let me just start, no, without any hesitation, without any lack of confidence, or maybe the people might feel like they kind of scared or not. Actually, basically the word I think suitable is not confidence with what they're going to start up with, what they're going to talk on first. So that's what make a person to hold on before starting. Yeah, that's what I meant. So how a person can start up? Thank you.
Okay, that's a bit more clear now. So like I said earlier, it's a bit of a journey. Okay, you have to practice a bunch of times speaking in public, so that at a point you become the first person to raise your hands. Okay, so my first point is that you need to be comfortable. You need to practice many times, and it's a journey. It's not going to happen in like the next 1 or 2 years only. Give yourself that time. And then number two is that as you are going to practice, you need to prepare. Means that if you firstly, there's nothing wrong with not going first year. You sit, you listen, you observe, you learn from other people. Maybe you didn't understand something, so you want clarification. It's not a problem if you're not the first one to go. The only problem is if you stay silent when you have something to say. So the step prior to that is always to prepare. It's always to think, to write down, or to type. What is it you want to say? Because if you just blurt it out without thinking, then that's also of no use. Don't speak for the sake of speaking. Voicing it out, speaking out is when you have a point. Or if you want your presence known, ask a good question. You must always do some kind of research behind that. So my two points for you is Kuruba is number one, give it time. Understand that it's a journey. You're not gonna become a totally different person, a new super empowered leader tomorrow. Give yourself the time to practice. And if you fail, if it fails again and again, it's okay. And then always do homework. Like if it's going around a room and it's your turn to say something or ask a question, make sure you've written it down. Like that really helps. Once you do that many times and it becomes a habit, you will find after some time you don't need to write anymore. You know how to think about it in your head without it going all over the place. So give it time and practice. Write the homework down. No problem, my dear. How to ignore those negativity. Even they say it's a joke at the end of the day, I feel like it's body shaming. At the same time, we can't say anything because it's a family member or friend. Call them out when they do that, because this is part of the culture changing journey. We are all responsible, whether you're a man or a woman. If someone is rude and they body shame you, you have to point it out. I'm sorry, that's not acceptable. It's not, so call it out. And then after you have called it out, let it go. Don't keep it, don't bring it to when you sleep, don't bring it to your dreams, don't bring it to the next day. Always just make sure you call it out politely, straight to the point. Don't be kurang ajar anything, just call it out and then ciao. Erin, I have a best friend who always think that everything is about face, and it's been going on most of her life. How do I convince her that face isn't everything? In my life experience, people need to come to realization themselves. It's not your responsibility to change his or her opinion. You can only invest in yourself. When the time is right, sometime in your best friend's life, she's going to realize that the face is not everything. It's good to look good within what God has given you, right? Or within what you have inherited from your parents. Make the best out of it, and that's that. Don't try to be something you're not, physically, emotionally, spiritually. How to tackle multitasking work and homework, time management, calendar blocking, to-do list, learning how to prioritize. That's really important. But remember, like many things that I've shared with the other girls, it's a journey to make that a habit. Say no to things that don't contribute to what you need. Calendar block so that you know you cannot do anything else at that time, and be efficient. If you have 25 minutes, make it a damn good 25 minutes. If you have to say no to some friends, say no. Okay. Shamira, how are we doing with time?
Yeah, we don't have much time because we have a session that you're going to explain a little bit on our program, mentorship program. So probably you guys can keep your question for our mentorship program later on, because we'll be having our Zoom session, right? With our mentors. Yeah, probably you guys can, spend much of your time, because it's going to be on 24th of July, 2021 to 21st August, guys. You have plenty of time. So keep, you can maybe try to think of your questions, and all that. So Miss Izzana, can we take a picture first before moving on to your mentorship program? Yeah, let's take a picture.
Who's taking the picture? Is someone going to send me the pictures later?
Yeah, Mr. Daniel Khalid will make sure that he already sent you the picture.
Okay, are we smiling? Are we posing? Are we peacing? What's happening? Love you too.
I'm glad that this session was. I'm glad everyone loved it. Yeah.
Good. I'm happy. I'm happy too. The 50 girls who are joining our session, they're all here, right?
Yeah, they are.
Okay, so you have plenty of time
Yes,
to
ma'am.
ask questions.
Okay, guys, let's take a picture. Let's count. Go. Can I have everyone turning on their cameras? Cool. Okay, so guys, 1, 2, go. Okay, we'll go with one more. 1, 2, go. Okay, done. Thank you, Miss. I think we'll
So
go
I'll
ahead with
I'll share very quickly just a bit about what's going to happen for those who are joining, and for those who are not, hopefully we can do another round with UMK. So tomorrow your session will be with me. I will run the session, the plenary session, but you break out into groups with mentors, okay? So we have 10 other mentors who are there. They are specifically looking at your growth. So all those questions that you had, for example, I asked you for a bit more details. Maybe you might be shy sharing so many details in front of like so many friends. In those sessions, there'll just be like 8 of you. So you can get into a bit more detail about some of the issues, and your mentor can give feedback. They will ask you to think. The goal is not for you to ask them for the answer, but it's asking how to think. Because I don't believe in us giving, there's a saying, don't give, if you give somebody a fish, they eat for a day. If you teach them how to fish, they eat for a lifetime. Maksudnya, you need to learn how to do things. So that will essentially be what it's all about. I will share more details tomorrow, but the point is that you have plenty of time to ask questions. In fact, my talk today is a good foundation for you to understand why we're gonna get you to do what you do tomorrow onwards. And one thing I do want to share with you is you're going to get what you put in. Means that if you are honest and you are truthful and you share and you put in the work and you practice the role play, you will improve. You will get out of your comfort zone and you will improve as a person and a potential leader. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow. And for those who didn't get to join this time and your friends tell you they like it, you tell Daniel, and then maybe we can do another one another time. Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for all your questions. I really had a good time too. And I look forward to seeing the mentees tomorrow and the rest of you anytime. I give you guys my Insta. If you have anything you didn't get to ask, feel free to drop me a DM. Okay? Thank you, ladies.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Miss,
Miss.
for joining us.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Miss.